Hello, my dear, and welcome to our 5 minutes with Ekaterina war vlog about Dnipro, the central Ukraine. And today is the 24th of February, the day when the full-scale invasion started 2 years ago. But for me, this war has started earlier, and it started in 2014, a little bit later than now, because in summer died my first friend whom I would lose in this war. And that was the moment of no turning point when a lot of my friends started to volunteer, and a lot of things happened. Lugansk, where I was studying at the moment, literally 10 years ago, approximately this time of the year, I was taking my diploma from there. And just in a few months, I saw the places where I have been for a few years pretty frequently. They were just bombed. So the first bombs fallen on the territory of Ukraine 10 years ago. And for me, 10 years is the third of my life. It's pretty hard to imagine that the third of my life was just under the constant threat, because Donetsk is 200 kilometers from Dnipro, and I was pretty convinced that if or when the full-scale invasion starts, Dnipro would be the next city, because it's so close, and I didn't have doubts that Russians would actually invade us. And it was kind of a good surprise 2 years ago that they were not able to do it within the first few days, because of the resistance, because of our boys and girls who went there on the front line, who lost their lives trying to protect us, those who were left in the city. And I started to volunteer, so for me the full-scale war also has started 2 years ago. And right now it's a pretty depressing time, because Avdiivka was captured and occupied by Russians. Then occupied, maybe it's not really correct, because when they capture a city, they capture ruins. In fact, if you ever have seen Aleppo in Syria, or Shastia in Ukraine, or Marinka in Ukraine, the footage of Marinka is very widespread online. You know what I mean. And that's the tactics. Russians actually just send in their avia bombs, and they just ground everything that they can ground. Moreover, they just shoot civilian infrastructure also with bombs and drones. Yesterday is the day of Soviet army and of Russian army, no surprise, and they had a huge attack to Ukraine. People died in Dnipro because of that. It was 9-storied multi-flat building that they hit with a drone, and people were just sleeping in their beds. Two people died, and two floors of these two top floors of this building, they were just blown up, and that's people who were inside, they had no chances to survive. Thankfully, it was a building made out of bricks, not made out of panels, because the most of our houses are panel houses. And because it was made out of bricks, the house itself, it didn't fall. And it was like other people who were there, they survived. So it's shocking. It's not far from the place where I live, where my family lives, and for me, I'm still in this state of not believing, not accepting. Still, after all these years, even after 10 years, I cannot accept that this was happening to me. I cannot understand why it happens to me or to any of us, and we definitely did not deserve being bombed. When I was home in January, every other day we had night bombings. And why they bomb us as civilians if they want to change something or to denazify someone who is not a Nazi? So it's still, after 2 years, it still doesn't make any sense in my mind. I'm just trying to accept the fact of the invasion. And all this depressive mood all over the city, which is just topped by some everyday troubles, by unemployment, by the rise of criminal uh, elements, because people don't have jobs, they don't have legal means to have their income, to just to have food basically on their tables, and children who don't go to school, who still continue their education online in most of the parts of the region, and partly in Dnipro as well. So all of this is kind of stockpiling, and of course our hopes is that we will win the war soon, because just negotiations with Russians, they would not stop the war, they will just bring the war to the new territories. Recently, Russians started to claim Transnistria region, they've always claimed Poland, they've always claimed Baltic states. So if we just give up today, it means that the war will just start in a different place, and probably we would be forced to fight for Russians, or we will be killed, imprisoned, tortured in prison, or have to flee, as some newspapers say that about 20 million of people would flee Ukraine. And if you think that the total population of Ukraine is 30 million and 8 million is actually already in Europe abroad, it means that 90% of the country, or like I'm bad in percentage, but the majority of people in the country would flee. So it will mean that 28 out of 30 million will try to leave Ukraine. It's just like leaving only 2 million of people to Russians. Nobody wants to live under Russian rule in Ukraine. That's the estimation. That's what the numbers mean that you might have read. So that's it for today. Yeah, it's an anniversary. It's a sad anniversary today. I wanted to make this video just to share my feelings with you. It's not informative maybe, and a little bit emotional, but that's how I feel. I'm pretty sure that some people in Dnipro also share my feelings. So thank you so much for your support over these 2 years. I know that for you it was also difficult, and you also know that it's not fair, and you try to do your best to help us. So thank you for staying with us. Thank you for your support, love, donations, explaining other people what's going on. And I truly hope to see you in free Ukraine, and after the end winning of this war. Thank you for watching. See you.